Good morning! How are you guys today? I hope you guys are doing well. This week we are going to learn about sink and float. What is sink? The things around you that go in the water, it's called sink. Can you see, for example, an apple? If you take an apple in a container of water and you drop it inside, it will sink. What is float? Float is the things around you which are light will float. We will take a container of water and if you drop it inside, it will float. For example, a ball. If you drop a ball, a play ball, if you drop it in the water, it will not sink, it will float. Now here are some pictures. You can see the things that sink, the things that float. Wood. If you put wood in the water, what do you think? It will sink or float? Wood is light. The things which are light, it will always float. It will not sink. So the wood will float. What is this? This is a marble. A marble is heavy. If you put it in the water, it will go down and it will sink. It will not float. What is this? It's a key. Key will, if you put the key in the water, it will sink. It will not float. As well as a stick is also made of wood. So it will float. It will not sink. Now I will show you an activity for better understanding the things which will sink and float. So this is an activity. For this activity you need a container of water. You have to fill the container till the top with water and you need some things around your house to see the things which will sink or float. Okay. So let's see from here which are the things which will sink or float. This is a water bottle. Water bottle which doesn't contain water. Though if it would contain water, it would sink. This doesn't contain water, so it is light. The things which are light will always float. So let's see, will this sink or float? Let me drop it in the water. Look. It is floating. Okay. So, water bottle will float. Now let's move on to, what is this? It's a toothbrush. A toothbrush, what do you think? A toothbrush will sink or float? A toothbrush is light or heavy? I think it will. Let's see what is going to happen. It's going to float because it's light. Did you see? It's floating in the water. So, which one should I take? Sink or float? It's going to float. Very good job. Now let's move on to this big stone. What do you think? The stone will sink or float? Is it heavy or light? It is very heavy. So heavy things will sink. So let's drop it in the water and see. See? It is sinking. It didn't float because it's heavy. So let me put a tick on sink. The stone will sink. Now, let's see a spoon. Can you see? It's a metal spoon. A metal spoon will always sink. It will not float because it is heavy. It is metal. So let's see. Let me drop it in the water and see. Is it going to sink or float? It is sinking. Look. It is sinking. It's not floating. So I will take it over here. Now let's let's move on to a cotton ball. A cotton ball is very light. So who can tell me, is it going to sink or float? Let's see. It is floating. But when there is too much of water, it sinks. Okay, you have to make sure the water doesn't get absorbed by the cotton. If it gets absorbed, it will sink. But usually cotton is very light, so it will float. Okay, now let's move on to a ball. What do you think? Ball will sink or float? Let's see. A ball is very light, so it is going to float. So these are some things I had to show you. It would sink or float. So now you can do the same activity in your house. You can look around what you have and use it to see whether it sinks or float, and send me the video of it in Google Classroom. Okay, bye-bye.